How is everybody doing today? It's Jury from ATF and Premier Gaming, and I am working on a video because, let's be honest, not all matches are going to go the way that you want them to go. It's never going to be perfect, right? Yeah, well, I had a match earlier that I'm just gonna be honest, there's no logical reason for any of the things that occurred to have occurred, and I just feel the need to share it with somebody. So I've explained this a bunch of times for a bunch of people. But probably the number one thing that you want to do as a player in Wild Rift is to communicate. If you don't communicate with your teammates, you're setting yourself up to fail. But if you can't, if there is no way for you to communicate with your teammates, you have to kind of work around that. Especially in solo queue, it seems to be a little more challenging in groups, because I don't know how the matchmaking algorithm works as far as like if it's trying to match some sort of like win rate, like median win rate, or what the deal is, but the people on my team, if I'm in a duo or a trio, are the worst people imaginable, and it never gets any better. So you spend a lot of your time in those matches overcompensating, and it causes you to make bad decisions and lose. You can't really learn anything from that. On the other side of that is solo queue, where you basically have to just play like an asshole, to make sure that you can get enough experience, get enough gold to set your team up to win, or just win by yourself. And in this particular scenario, I pretty much just won by myself. So, first things first, we've got a reasonable team. We ideally would have had a tank for our support, at least in my opinion, because I mean I really like the tanky supports right now. That doesn't mean that's always the case, but just for me personally, Leona, Alistar, they're just better to me. And we didn't have a tank. The best we had was Yasuo. I pick Seraphine when I'm solo queuing as support because she can make up for the fact that our ADC in almost all those cases isn't able to communicate with me, and is going to be the worst ADC imaginable as compared to the previous game. Every game I play, the ADC is worse than the last. This guy wasn't awful comparatively, but he wasn't great. So that was playing against us already. So anyway, let's charge ahead. I'm pretty much just going to follow me throughout the match. The Kennen wasn't bad, so I may flip over to him back and forth, but the majority of the match is just going to be me. Number one thing I didn't do that I should have done was begged the Jinx rather than just saying, hey, we should leash. Begged the Jinx, because the ADCs aren't going to leash. If you're a support, you have to leave earlier than you would have, because when you get back, you're going to be missing experience and gold. And they don't want you to have experience or gold. They don't seem to see any value in supports. I don't really know why that is, but Anyway, that's where we're at. So I try to stay back. I try to pre-hit all the waves with my with my one just to get them down just a little bit, just to kind of help the Jinx out. Um, it sort of helps the wave push forward too. It's not always the best, but anyway, that's what I did here. So she did engage when I went in. That was not the best move on my part, but I kind of got boxed in, so just had to do what I had to do. But as you can see, I'm just kind of staying back, trying to take as little poke damage as I can, and hope that the Jinx doesn't completely screw this up. Checking the other lanes. Not a lot of push there. Not a lot of push there. We're outranged right now, so the best play in that scenario is to either push them so hard that they can't react, or to just kind of chill under tower, not really push the waves too hard. As you can see, I'm not doing any damage to the minions, just to prevent it from moving any further forward than it is. The Kazakhs came down. There wasn't really much I could do to kill them, but I just dumped as much damage out as I could, and we were able to push them back. I don't remember if we got any of them. Yeah, just tried. Almost got the Varus, but just couldn't make it play out in our favor. The Kennen did come down, so there is that. And he got a little vision. Like I said, the Kennen was attempting to make plays. We just weren't in a situation where we could really do much with it at that time. Dragons spawning in 10 seconds. Trying to pay attention to that. Rengar is close. So you'd kind of think, with them pushed into their tower, the best play is to go back, get items, and make a push for that. I was able to trick the Jinx into going back, so that's good. So the plan is try to clear that wave and go in. That's the plan anyway. Rengar even smart enough to drop a ward on the dragon, so that's news. But if you notice, their whole team is pretty much ready to go. I'm pretty sure I threw a bad ult somewhere in here. But we are able to get a little bit of action there. I was gonna die anyway, so it is what it is. Rengar is able to escape, which is nice, but that puts them on the dragon. So Rengar does engage, kind of pull them off of it just for a second, and they kill him for it. So I'm watching the dragon's health the whole time. It's low, I ult it, we get the dragon. So that ultimately we died. I mean, we all died, but well, we didn't all die, but we were able to get the kill. That's key point there. We got the dragon. So objective taken. Roll back into lane. Try to get this thing pushed. Malphite's kind of camping out. Uh, I always try to pop those honey fruit just for the sake of them not having it when they need it. But what that ended up doing is getting me killed. So, and as you can see, Kennen really, really on top of it, and I greatly appreciate that, Kennen, because we didn't have a lot of positive in our favor in this, really, in the whole match. Always important to also notice the gold differential. Despite being down on kills, I mean we're down a good bit of gold right now because it's so early, but we are able to maintain that to some extent. There is a period where it spreads and there's a huge gap, but we haven't made it to that point yet. So anyway, getting ready to clear this wave as quick as we can. But I'm still kind of sitting back, giving Jinx the opportunity to get that CS. And Vera shows up as soon as we get it pushed. Now obviously they're making a play on that, but there's not much we can do. Or not much I can do by myself, so I'll stay back. And really the point, the main point of this video is really to kind of show you what you could be doing in solo. It's not the only way to win, but it gets worse. So they've got Herald. We got our top laner just refusing to create any kind of pressure up top, which is always fun. I threw an ult, didn't make any difference, but I was able to get away, so there's that. You want to try to mitigate your deaths as much as possible, especially in solo queue, because I mean, you're the only hope for your team. The other 4 people aren't going to be capable of doing much of anything. So I was able to set up Ringar's kill there, which was nice. Yasuo, of course, is hanging out in the jungle, so he dies. He does that a few times. No real pressure up top for the majority of the game. So they've got Herald pushing in mid. I needed items, so I went back. Just finished staff, which is kind of a big deal for me. Just trying to rotate in. Dragon's about to pop in 15 seconds. And I was actually typing something there. I shouldn't have been doing that. There's really no point in communicating because they don't speak your language. What difference does it make? We did get a kill, so that was nice. Now we have 5 people next to the dragon. The play should be the dragon. Instead, all 4 of our 5 teammates run into the jungle. And you'll notice they're not going to live. There's no reason. I mean, you might say, well, if the support was there, I don't even care. If they want to overextend, that's their problem. It's not really my job to babysit and lose. So anyway, because of that, Ringar and I were able to take the dragon and a tower instead of playing like our teammates. Now, that did put me in a bad situation. I was able to get out of it. But really, as you can see, I'm really just farming. Just trying to get as much gold as I can. I ended up staying here. Was it the best idea? Maybe, maybe not. But Varus wasn't really interested in creating any lane pressure either, so it just gave me an opportunity to keep getting free gold and experience, which I'm a huge fan of. My team, also huge fans of things. Just go in, fight, 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 kill, kill, kill. It's a huge outplay by the Jinx. And just run in and die. But fortunately, I'm still alive, so I'm able to clear that wave and prevent them from getting mid-tower. And it does stay up for a while longer. Or maybe I'm wrong. I was just kidding. And I die here. Now, because we're hard up for team fights, Rengar was ready to go into that 3v1. You can see two here, there's one in the bush. But he did wait long enough for Jinx to get there so she could die too. I mean, it's just there's no rhyme or reason to it. It's just kill, kill, kill. It's crazy. So, of course, their gameplay put us in yet another bad scenario.
Bottom turret is under attack.
Now, there's no saving bottom turret. I didn't even bother looking. Wasn't even worried about it.
Bottom turret is under attack.
Figured the best thing I could do is just try to stay safe and clear the wave, which I was able to do. Now, of course, my teammates show up, and they're fight, fight, fight.
Middle turret is under attack.
But they have no interest in wave, gold, or experience, so I'm able to just keep on farming. What do we have here? A 1v2. Malphite really wants that kill. So I slid in, got the ult off. We're able to get the one kill. I don't know, do we get the second? Oh, we should have. But we're able to keep pushing. Kennen really making plays. I just flicker and ignite. Kennen, I think, yeah, gets the kill. So Baron's alive. We got 22 seconds on the Infernal Dragon. They've got 4 dead, so we move in on the Baron. And this Baron kill is pretty clean. We're able to just get it. Now I'm going to pause the video for a second and just make a statement. The purpose of killing Baron Nashor is to give you the ability to buff your minions so that you can then push towers. Period. That is the only purpose of that. It does give your team gold. I think it's 100 gold. That was 200 gold per person to the whole team, which is great. But the purpose of the Baron buff is to push towers. Needless to say, we don't do that. So I go back in, Dragon's up. Of course, I buffed all the minions. They did come back, which was nice. So we're going to slide over. I'm going to buff these minions, do a little damage. Slide on over here. Now they had already killed the dragon by the time I got there, which is unfortunate because Infernal Dragon is Infernal Dragon. You know, damage is the most obvious thing that you want your team to have. I threw an ult into absolutely nothing, which is fun. and gave Yasuo a chance to come on over. He didn't bother. Now, after missing a perfectly good opportunity to help me, he decides that he's going to engage Rengar Jinx, eventually notice that he's there, and are able to save him. So that's nice, I guess. We did not get the dragon. We've all got the Baron buff, and the only person actually that could be buffing minions is the Jinx, who does not have the Baron buff. So I buffed minions, and then no one else did anything. It's a waste of a Baron. That's me typing to remind them what the Baron buff is and why that was a waste of time. I mean, there's no sense in taking it if you're not going to do anything with it. So, Yasuo, instead of creating pressure, is in the jungle doing nothing. So I've just kind of resigned myself to my fate of clearing waves, and I got murdered. I extended too far. I should have been more aware of the situation. But the good news is, anytime I'm dead, or really anytime at all, my team is in a team fight. Yes! Team fight. So here we have a 4v1. Now, as soon as Jinx showed up, he didn't want to be involved in that. He dies anyway, so what difference does it make? But again, Kennen has a pretty good concept of how the game works, which is nice. And he's able to try to keep waves up. Or maybe what he's doing is tricking the Jinx to group in a lane. But either way, he's clearing wave. That's all I needed to see. It's Baron pings. Now this is when it gets fun. So I clear the wave and I'm like, I need to get out of here. And I'm like, wait a minute. No, my team's stupid. And I checked. They did not move in on Baron. Because they probably had the sense enough to know that we knew they'd be there, so they got out. Now, hell yeah, team fight. So I ult, we're able to kill a bunch of them. Kha'Zix, I believe, oh, he does go back in and gets a kill. I thought it was kind of funny, the Nemesis duel popped after Rengar died. So here we go. A little bit more of a heated Baron kill, because Kha'Zix is up and he is coming. So he kills Kennen. Now he has smite. There's something to keep in mind. Instead, I take the Baron and kill him. Did Yasuo actually was alive at that point. And he did almost buff a whole wave. So maybe my chatting in game helped him. Doubtful though. So I'm obviously trying to buff all the minions because my team's not going to do it. Well, really, Yasuo being the only person with it didn't really matter. He's an idiot. So I'm camped out. I ult that. They're still attacking the dragon. They pull it out. So I backed off and just buffed minions. since that's the point of the Baron buff. I can't say that enough. If you're killing the Baron and you're not buffing minions, you're an idiot. So this is where the karate burrito kicks in, and I don't really even care. I was able to kill the Kazakhs and the tower goes down. Now that wasn't the right play on my part. I should have backed off as soon as I saw him, but we were able to get that tower down. Once again, Kennen, I don't mean to ignore the rest of my team, but just don't worry. They're not doing anything that is of any value. Yeah, they're just feeding. Now, despite being down 6 kills, we do have more objectives, so we are almost even on gold, so that's a positive. Kennen's smart enough to realize what's up. He goes over, and I'm gonna pop here in a second. Good job, Kennen. Snags that Elder Dragon. That was a big deal, and you'll see why later. So Baron up in a minute. Are we preparing for this? Not really. The best thing I know to do is just push waves. Yasuo's got top, and I've got mid, so the waves surrounding the Baron to really just put us in the best position possible. But they also had a pretty big wave bottom, so I go to clear that, and I think this is when I get my last item. There's a wave there, so I clear it too. There's really no reason not to do that, even though people constantly refuse to do that. So I get my last item. There's 15 seconds on Baron, and I decide the best thing to do is just keep on pushing. They're gonna just fight for it regardless. I don't even care. And Kennen again makes that happen. Now, he's a little thirsty, but anyway, my point was to cause them to have to back away and to pay attention to the towers, so that it really just to try to create a situation that they wouldn't be able to move to Baron. Because maybe we could have, maybe we couldn't have. I didn't feel like we could have killed it, especially with this Rengar. So just kept clearing waves. Now they're all up again, so I decided that was time to get out, and I timed it immaculately well, because Garen was coming, and he definitely would have killed me. So they're obviously going for Baron. Yasuo is still not top, so I clear his wave, and the next wave. He did start complaining, even though he wasn't taking the wave, that I was taking the wave. So anyway, I ignored him completely, as you would expect. And yeah, so they're moving to Baron. Where's Yasuo going? Just back out. So, ult, took the Baron. Now, they chase me hard. I was able to kill Kazakhs as well. So we've got Garen and Malphite coming for me. I'm at full health. Give myself time to get my abilities back up. And then I proceed to totally trash him. Now those waves I push forward are really starting to pile up. I've got Baron Jinx has Baron.
Enemy turret destroyed.
Sweet victory.
Enemy turret destroyed. Enemy turret destroyed. Victory!
I wasn't the MVP. Um, Not sure why. If you notice, I had more gold. Um, the Kennen did do more damage. Really, the Kennen plays were equally as strong as mine because they definitely helped us in a couple of different situations. But for some reason, the Ringar got MVP. Did I make a bunch of great plays? No, I mean I made a couple. The Kennen did a really good job. Jinx was awful. Yasuo was awful. Ringar was better than most Ringars. But in solo queue, this is what you have to do. Find a way to take control. Is setting yourself up to try to steal every single objective a good idea? Absolutely not. But that's one example of how I was able to overcome a situation that was not winnable. And I appreciate you watching. If you would like to send me a video, I would be happy to take a look at your gameplay, give you tips. I'm not a coach, I'm just a dude, but I have a lot of experience with MOBAs, and I'm happy to help the general population get better. So feel free. You can hop in our Discord, which is at the bottom of the screen. My name is Jury, and well, you can do that anyway and group up. Well, we'd be happy to have you. That said, everybody have a great day in ranked, and for the love of God, just karate burrito.